Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope you're all well today. I hope the sun is shining with you. I've had to put the light on in this room because it's so grey and overcast and just just yucky. I don't like days like this, but I think it's going to be a pyjama day for me. If I can try and sit down and not do anything for 5 minutes and not do anything connected with writing for 5 minutes. I used to be an avid reader. This house is like a library. And ever since I started writing, I've not written anything. I'm not reading anything, which is a shame. There's a lot of things that I don't do anymore, which is quite a shame. I wanted to talk today. I wanted to talk about probably along the lines of mental health today. I have been, hands up, I have still been struggling quite a lot this week, and I often feel again, and I'm not I'm not disrespecting any of my fellow writers, any writer, but I do often feel again that the same as with abuse or trauma, that depression or anything to do with mental health is kind of a taboo subject, and I don't see a lot of people writing about it. I don't know why that is, and I don't know why that should be. I'm just making sure that you can see all my face, because the lady the other day said you can't see all my face, so yeah. I don't know why that should be. Mental health is, and there's been so many high profile celebrities come out and said that, they have this or they have that, and they've checked themselves into this place, that place. It's a disease of the 21st century, really, isn't it? Isn't it really, And there's still so much stigma attached to it. And the thing that a lot of people, I think, don't get is, like, when you're having a bad one, like, nobody gets up in the morning and looks in the mirror and says, do you know what? I think I'll be depressed today, because it just doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Take it from me. If you've never suffered from depression, you don't want to suffer from depression. You don't want to suffer from depression. I was not having a good one yesterday. I went to the crematorium to see my father yesterday, and I needed to go. I just needed to go. I needed to speak to my father. And as I was coming out of my block, my neighbour saw me and he knew right away, and I don't hide it. This is the thing, this is the thing, that, and I'm going to read a poem that's connected to that. If you're not feeling okay, why should you hide it? Like, why should you hide it? It's okay not to be okay. Simple as. Why pretend to be happy when you're not? And this goes back again to, we're only human, We're only human, so, you're having a bad, and there is a big difference between, okay, if you've never suffered from depression, there's a big difference between having a day where you're a bit fed up and being depressed, let me tell you as well, But why should you have to pretend? Like, why should you pretend? You know, when I'm having a day when I'm as low as you can go, I'm ready to jump off the side of a cliff. But I won't, and I never will, you know. But I just think that it is quite a taboo subject. And within the writing community, there is a great deal of these. There's a lot of these things on most of the platforms. They call them prompts, and the prompts are good, especially if you're having a block, and you look at the prompt and it's to try and inspire you to write something. So it will either be a written prompt, or it'll be a picture prompt. And they're good, but at night there's one lady on WordPress who does a picture prompt, and most weeks, I've not done it the last couple of weeks with all the carry on with the comments, but I usually do hers, but the rest I don't. I would rather read and I would rather write, and it's the only way I know how to write. It's the only way that I know how to write, and also all the different forms of poetry. I know at this stage, 4 years down the line, I should have learned more forms, but I haven't. I write it how I feel it, in here or in there, here or there or in my soul, and that is the only way that I know how to write. And if that's the wrong way to write, well, put me up against a wall and put a gun to my head. I would rather read something real and raw, but that's just me. My poetry is not aesthetically pleasing, and I don't want it to be aesthetically pleasing. I would hope that a lot of it gives hope. I never want it to be all down and depressing, but when I first started writing poetry, way back in 2020, at the start of the pandemic, I used to date my poems, and I still date my poems, and that gauges my mood on any given day. So you can usually gauge from what I post if you're a person that is empathetic and reads between the lines. You will probably see that I'm not on a good one. Why should you hide it when you're feeling depressed? Why? I can't put on a fake smile. My neighbour knew right away yesterday by looking at me, and he gave me a cuddle, my 84-year-old neighbour. I'm not going to hide that I'm depressed. I'm not going to pretend, that I'm, and as well, a lot of the time with me, there is no specific reason that I can pinpoint. Okay, when my oven went on the blink, and then the comments weren't working, and it was just too much, but in the grand scheme of things, and all that I've been through in my life, that probably should not have affected me so much. I should have been able to deal with that. And I usually am quite capable of dealing with most things, but I get these days where my mood just goes, And yesterday was one of those days, and I am going to read out the poem that I wrote yesterday when I was feeling like that. I've been through a lot, and I went through a lot with him, and I know that I'm the only one that can heal myself. Nobody's going to come and sit with me and give me medicine and say, oh, Maggie, here, and you're going to be okay. I know that. But you know what? And I'm being brutally honest here. Where do you start? Where do I start? I've done bits and pieces, as I've said. I was doing the trauma-informed yoga and it was helping, but I need to be doing far more than that if I'm going to rid myself of what was done to me. And it feels so bad some days where I think, he's won. He's won, And I'm not going to let him win. I am not going to let him win, but it's just like, it wasn't just 6 months, it wasn't just a year, it wasn't 3 years. It was over a decade. It was probably more like 20 years, because even after we split up, he would still be hanging about like a shadow. So, and then I have the days where I feel rubbish, and then I self-flagellate because I'm feeling rubbish, and I beat myself up, and it's just a perpetual cycle, It's just a perpetual cycle. But I'm trying. I'm trying, but with the healing stuff, I really, will I ever be healed? Well, you know what I mean? Well, will I ever? Or will I always just have good days, bad days, horrendous days? And the horrendous days are horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Where if I was brave enough, I would take a razor. I would. But I'm not going to do that because my father wouldn't want me to do that. And I'm not going to let him win. I am not going to let that mofo win. But I am human, and I've dragged on to 12 minutes, and I know it's not a happy, cheery video, but it is an upfront, honest video, which I always strive to be. So I'm going to read this poem, which I wrote yesterday. I'm okay today, I'm fine today. I'm okay. I just get, I can't, I can only be, I know how far I've come, and I tend to forget that, and I'm not one for patting myself on the back. I'm not one for giving myself applause. I'm not one for, congratulating myself on anything. And probably I need to start doing that more. I need to remember how far I've come, because healing is not an overnight process, and it will take as long as it takes. And I just have to show myself the same amount of compassion as I would somebody else that has been through a similar situation. But I find that because I'm my own worst enemy a lot of the time, because I beat myself up. I beat myself up because, I can't do. But most of the time I do, but I probably do too much. Then I get exhausted, and it's a vicious cycle. It's a completely vicious cycle. So this is the way I was feeling yesterday, and I'm being honest, open and real, as I always am. There is no escape from the dark, only the odd glimmer of hope. Sorry, that should be the odd glimmer of light Flickers of hope always fade, so I live underground with my roots, among the dead leaves of the past that still haunts. I can't exhume the parts of me that are still alive. Some days I see no point to try, when your shadow still looms within every part of my subconscious mind. I cry in an attempt to exorcise a ghost of you, but nothing eases my pain. Now I know I will never be free. Parts of you will always remain, draining the essence from my soul, and nothing I do will ever release your stranglehold. And that's how it feels sometimes. And I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel like that, and I don't want to let him win. I don't want to let him win. I'm not going to let him win. I just need to try harder. I need to be kinder to myself. I need to cut myself some slack. And I probably need to do more work in terms of healing. I hope the sun's shining with you, and we'll see what Monday brings. I might come on and do one of those, one of those, if I'm, I'm fine today. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm not like dancing around the room or the house or the flat or whatever this place. It's a flat, but I'm fine. I'm good. Look after yourselves. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. We're all just doing the best we can. Until next time, bye for now.